Hello, I am Gabriel Hay, and this is my co-op opportunity with Prestige Motorsports. In late May of 2020, I began working for Prestige Motorsports under the title of Entry-Level Machinist. I worked with them through the summer, and come time for the fall semester of 2020, I asked Prestige if they would give me the opportunity to co-op with them. Liking my performance over the summer, they agreed. Prestige Motorsports is a company that specializes in custom-built engines, fully customized engines, any engines, not just Ford or Chevrolet or Mopar, any engines. We're the number one hit on Google when you search custom engine. They also specialize in car restoration, typically older classic restorations, but occasionally newer builds come in. I work directly under my supervisor, Lloyd McCleary Sr. I and most of the other shop refer to him as Senior. He has been building engines his entire life, so it only seems fit that he oversees the engine side of production. This was my first semester on co-op with UNC Charlotte and Prestige Motorsports. When I was first hired in May, I was initially trained exclusively for block preparation. During block prep, I inspect blocks for cracks, pinholes, excessive wear, or anything out of the ordinary that may inhibit the block from running properly. Once it's determined fit, I prepare the block for cleaner, quicker machining and assembly. This includes clearancing blocks for larger than stock stroke lengths, deburring machined edges, and cleaning oil galleys and passageways. I was also trained to check in new blocks and manage inventory. Checking in blocks ensures that what we ordered from the manufacturer is what we received. An important part of checking in new blocks is the initial inspection to determine if the block is even worth more of the company's time. For example, a common problem is receiving a block with a bore, the diameter of the cylinder, that has already been altered or machined larger than stock. This keeps us from safely ensuring that the engine will not fail due to there being less material for us to hone down for proper clean cylinder walls. One major aspect of managing inventory is appropriating the correct blocks for the correct engine build. There can be minor differences between blocks that, if not assigned correctly, can bring production to a halt, especially if the mistake isn't caught until final assembly or worse yet, when the customer tries to install their engine. After the summer and at the beginning of the co-op term, Senior asked if I would step up to machining because of recently letting go of another employee for negligence. Not wanting to miss out on an opportunity, I jumped on it. They trained me to run the mill, to turn down deck heights on engine blocks to our own specifications and reboring cylinders in stock blocks using the boring bar. Typically, we bored cylinders to 30 thousandths of an inch larger than the stock diameter. Milling and boring typically had to be within a tolerance of plus or minus 1/1000th of an inch. Not long after, I was also trained to balance rotating assemblies, modifying the crankshaft's counterweights to equal the mass of the rods and pistons. This is done to within 0.1 ounce inches, or about 2 grams. To put this into perspective, most high-revving, high-end racing rotating kits are balanced to within 0.25 ounce inches, or 7 grams. That's a pretty tight tolerance for a stroker hot rod engine. While balancing, I was trained to operate a basic lathe, mostly for turning down Mallory, which is a tungsten alloy used for adding weight, and other miscellaneous things. Top left is a picture of a balanced crankshaft. Top middle is the prep room with 2 blocks on stands mid-prep. Top right is a block freshly decked with a mill, and the bottom left is an overview of the machine shop. I am trained to run 4 of the 7 machines in this picture. When I was hired, I made it clear that my previous experience was heavily involved in residential construction, and tinkering with cars was only a hobby of mine. With that knowledge in mind, Senior quickly made use of my previous experience by putting me in charge of renovating the upstairs storage of the shop to become new offices and a break room. The main goal was to increase shop floor space. To achieve this, I began on the weekends by cleaning out all the clutter and moving what was kept into a 40-foot storage container kept behind the shop. Then, with the help of another coworker, coincidentally another engineering student from UNC Charlotte, we framed, plumbed, wired, and sheeted in the new offices. Once the office staff was moved into the new offices, demolition underneath began. Steel beams and posts were added as final supports. The new area is designated for fabrication and freed up other areas of the shop for pallet racks to be built that now contribute to larger block inventory capacity. I apologize for the quality of the photo, but another large undertaking, not done by me, but very important, was digitizing our system that tracked our productivity and progress of production. This made a huge impact, especially on me, by making it easier to assign and reassign blocks to different engines and minimizing our mistakes in doing so. This also allowed us to more accurately track the exact amount of time spent to complete an engine, every step of the way. We use color coding, specifically green, to signify if a certain process has been done. This informs Senior that the engine is on schedule and that the next process can be started. While digitizing production tracking, inventory also had to be digitized, making it easier to access all the information regarding one specific kit or block very quickly by looking it up. Since I've been a part of Prestige Motorsports, I've seen the company grow in many ways in a relatively short amount of time. When I started there were 13 full-time employees. I saw it drop to as low as 10 and now back up to 17. After the renovation, shop floor space alone increased by 25%. Block storage on the pallet racks increased by 200%. Our production has grown from approximately 4 engines per week to 6 per week. I alone have trained 2 new employees that are currently still there. One of the biggest things I realized that I grew from was proper and clear communication. The reason certain tasks or jobs are not completed correctly is because of the lack of clear and distinct communication. It can be hard to know what to do when the work order does not specify or when the work order is not absolute. Ambiguity slows manufacturing. It is important to know how to balance time spent versus the quality of the product. This means don't waste time striving for perfection that isn't obtainable with your own personal parameters. Just because I balance a crankshaft to within 2 grams doesn't mean I should spend the time to get it within half a gram. There is tolerances for a reason. The biggest and most important thing I picked up is always push for more. Strive to be better in any way. A little improvement here and there makes everything work together smoothly. Sometimes it feels disorganized till we find a system that works because Senior keeps trying new options till one fits. I have watched Prestige Motorsports grow and adapt to this new and ever-changing economy, but I've also come to realize how I have grown in my own ability and perceptions. My machining aptitude has increased tenfold. Before I knew a few basics, but now I have a good comprehension of true tolerances and what is feasibly possible to obtain. From an engineering standpoint, this gives me an advantage of knowing what manufacturers will struggle with when my designs call for a certain tolerance. I don't think I would have properly comprehended this without this co-op opportunity. I have also realized how important it is to have attention for detail because it can be very costly to do it again, if even possible. Time is money, and taking the time to do things correctly saves time later from slowing down production to go back and do it again. After I graduate, I don't have any distinct plans or paths laid out. I've always had an interest in the defense and automotive industry, but in recent times, energy concentration has been intriguing. Mostly because these industries are where I happen to see the largest leaps in technology. My experience with Prestige gave me the opportunity to glimpse into the custom side of the automotive world. I also learned that I want to be involved in designing new things, not maintaining or improving manufacturing. I found that I like to have a goal to work toward and achieve, not just maintain a certain state of something to be within allowances. Production is up and down but must maintain an average consistency. I believe I learned that I can more easily design things knowing what not to do. Before I came to UNC Charlotte, I wanted to follow the concentration of high-performance motorsports, but many of the others in the shop have lots of experience in the motorsports industry, and from them I've learned it's very cutthroat and harder to maintain. It does offer interesting means for research and development, but often it cannot be applied to the greater good of humanity and is typically only pertinent to motorsports itself. My goal is to make a difference the best way I can, using my education to accomplish that. This co-op greatly contributed to just that. So thank you.